It's been a pretty common pattern throughout the past few weeks here. People asking me, hey, why are you not making any videos in the playoffs? Why are you not talking about literally the biggest stories in hockey right now? Why are you just focused on Canucks and Canadian stuff? Well, it's pretty much because this channel is mine and I kind of want to make videos on what I want to talk about. And honestly, ever since the Canucks got eliminated, I have been living life to the fullest, or at least to the fullest that I'm capable of living it to. And not being holed up every 2 days at home because there's a Canucks game. It's been very freeing for my time. But as a result, the Stanley Cup Playoff games between the Oilers and the Stars and the Rangers and the Panthers have just kind of been on in the background, both in my mind and literally on my TV screen here at home. I'll watch the games, they're always on, but I'm not paying too close attention half the time, and when there are goals scored, I'm like, okay, great goal, then I just kind of go back to whatever it was I was doing whilst having the game on. But in this video, what I wanted to do was talk about the now down New York Rangers. They are down 3-2 in their series against the Florida Panthers. Eastern Conference final game yesterday, it was won 3-2 by Florida. And the interesting thing about yesterday's Florida victory was the fact that the game-winning 3-2 goal was actually an empty netter. You see, Anton Lundell gave the Panthers the 2-1 lead halfway through the third, and then Sam Bennett scored an empty netter with 2 minutes to go. Alexis Lafreniere, though, was able to score one late with 50 seconds left to put the Rangers on the board and bring it within one, unfortunately ending this game off with a final score of 3-2. Now, in this video, we're not going to talk about all the good. Lafreniere has been fantastic. My gosh, we can go off on many tangents as to how good he has been, but what I wanted to do is focus on the bad. Because when it comes to the results of this game here, I've been seeing more and more stockpiling comments on one Mika Zibanejad, and to an extent as well, Artemi Panarin of the New York Rangers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Lego, you're talking smack about Zibanejad. He got an assist on the Lafreniere goal. Okay, great. He had 2 assists in yesterday's game against the Panthers. What are you talking about? And while it is true that he did have himself 2 assists, I mean, look, I'm not going to say that they're like the most crazy assists in the world. The first one on the Chris Kreider shorthanded goal, Zibanejad steals the puck and then he tosses it up for Kreider, so not really the most exquisite, fantastic kind of assist to score. And then the Lafreniere one, I mean, it was in dead time anyway. The puck was just thrown on goal. Lafreniere got the tip. Not the best, but still, he got the assist over there. I will say, when it comes to Zibanejad, the play that I see most people talking smack about was the Sam Bennett 3-1 empty net goal, where it's labeled out here by Dublo1117 on Reddit, a horrendous sequence by Zibanejad, which led to Florida's empty net goal. Essentially, what you're looking at here is, firstly, Mika Zibanejad losing the board battle to Eetu Luosterainen on the boards there, shying away from the physicality. Then he slowly gets himself back into the play. He tries to take the puck away from Sam Bennett. Bennett kind of gets the shoulder, the elbow-ish up in there, and Zibanejad just kind of thwarts away. He kind of recoils in pain a little bit. Then Sam Bennett is able to just take the puck, walk right in, and score. Zibanejad doesn't really get involved after that, and the analysis says this: "This could be the single worst sequence in a do-or-die moment I've ever seen. Completely shies away from contact to keep in the puck, pulls up and lets the puck go past him, then instead of trying to engage the puck carrier in the neutral zone, he again pulls up and tries to sell a call. He stops skating and does not get back in transition." Now, of course, this is one play out of the entire hockey game that you could have seen here, out of the entire series. It's been 5 games here, so one play isn't the be-all and end-all, right? Well, the first comment goes out there and says this: "Didn't Zibanejad also have that terrible turnover that led to Wheeler taking that hooking penalty? This Florida series is having the same impact and realization that Leafs fans had with Mitch Marner earlier in the Boston series. I'm almost certain, as a Rangers fan, that Mika Zibanejad cannot be the #1 center on a cup-contending team." I agree. Alex Barkov is showing Zibanejad and us that there's levels to this stuff. More commenters go out there and say similar things. Zibanejad has been bad. I get playing bad, but the lack of effort on the play and embellishing a soft contact instead of trying to prevent an empty netter is honestly embarrassing. Yeah, Mika's been one of my favorite players in the league for a long time, but this series, he's just been bafflingly awful after looking like he had regained his form in the first 2 rounds. Just all around confusingly bad. And it gets even worse when you go over to the New York Rangers subreddit. Of course, y'all just lost a game, so I get it. You're gonna be pretty emotional after the loss. And even after a night's sleep, you're still probably gonna feel a little bit perturbed that you're down 3-2, it's do or die, 1994 all over again, etc., right? But all the posts on this subreddit about Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin still having hope and whether or not they're going to be able to come back and win. This post by DirectCrab6651 is just one of the examples here. It's not a good one, but it does go out there and say, this fanbase needs a wake-up call on Mika and Breadman. I'm gonna get downvoted into oblivion and I don't care. Mika and Panarin, they suck. They are front-running regular season stat hogs who don't care enough to make the sacrifices as Mess always says about playoff hockey. They like to win, they prefer not to lose, and that is why we have to suffer every year. 2 years ago, they couldn't score on a third stringer full of spicy beef who's currently our backup AHL goalie. Last year, they couldn't score on some no-name third stringer who was down in the AHL with 3.06 goals against, second worst in the Utica Comets. Why are we acting surprised that they can't get it done against a Florida team that's good with a good goalie? They couldn't get it done in the playoffs before against mediocre teams with total crap goalies. And then this post goes out there and talks a lot more about the same stuff that we had said. This essay probably didn't need to be its own separate post when there are already 37 other posts dumping on Brett and Zibanejad tonight. You haven't offered any new insights. So this seems to be the trend. Something is really wrong here, and honestly, when you look at Zibanejad in this point production, it's not like it stands out as immediately bad. You know, like, take a look at the regular season production. Of course, he was fantastic. He usually is during this period of time. 72 points in 81 games played. Last year, he had 91 points in 82 games played. He's got 16 points in 15 playoff games right now. That's awesome, but many Rangers fans would agree that he just has not been good. And when you go over to Artemi Panarin, you can say similar things, maybe even a tad worse if you really wanted to stretch it. I mean, Panarin had 120 points this season. He went absolutely sicko mode on the NHL this year, but only 14 points in 15 games played. The points per game number dropped off tremendously. And that's just to show the extent as to how good Panarin was in the regular season at consistently producing points and getting up on the board. It's not like he's not a good hockey player anymore. He's great. It's just there are certain expectations as to how players, and star players especially, are supposed to play if they're in the playoffs. If they're in a spot where they're in the third round and trying to claw their way back up into a game where they're down by 1, they're trying to tie it up, and Mika Zibanejad has a chance to keep the puck in. It's the choice to not engage physically and do everything you can. Sacrifice your body to keep the puck alive. It's making bad reads, which lead to bad penalties. It's making unfortunate misopportune decisions that lead to icings where you could have had possession. All this and more happened in the last game, and Rangers fans are dumping on Zibanejad more than ever before. Panarin, I'd say a little bit less so, but Zibby, he's been getting the brunt end of this stuff. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the New York Rangers and how everything is going so far. I mean, look, you're 2 wins away from making the Stanley Cup final. That's great. But if you lose one, you're done. So, Rangers fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this entire thing? I've been seeing a lot of people joking around as to whether or not Zibanejad is like a secret Florida Panthers agent, kind of in the same way Ian Cole was an Edmonton Oilers agent, but the difference is, I mean, Zibanejad is actually getting points in these games. He just happens to be doing a lot of other good things for the Panthers as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire Mika Zibanejad conversation. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.